The third Caliph Uthman bin Affan, his characteristics and morals since the beginning of the Islamic message and its spread in the world. Part 1. Uthman ibn Affan, the third Caliph of Islam and his contributions. Uthman ibn Affan, the third Caliph, who is known as the man with two lights, was one of the closest people to the Prophet, and he was a pious man. During his reign he expanded the Islamic state, many people converted to Islam, and he ruled with kindness and generosity. One of his famous accomplishments is the compilation of the Quran and distributing copies of the Quran to the Muslims. What are the contributions of Uthman ibn Affan? Who is he? How did he die? That's what we will find out in this article and much more. Let's get started. Who is Uthman ibn Affan? Uthman ibn Affan is the son of Affan ibn Abi al-As. His full name is Uthman ibn Affan bin al-Az bin Umayyah bin Abdul Shams bin Abd Manaf. He was born in Makkah into a rich family in the 6th year of the elephant. His mother was Arwa bint Qurayz. His father Affan ibn Abi al-As died before Islam, and his mother passed away during his caliphate. Uthman was younger than the Prophet by 5 years, and he accepted Islam early. He married the Prophet's daughter Ruqayyah, and when she passed away, he married her sister Kulthum. Uthman was born into a rich family, and his father Affan ibn Abi al-As was a famous and successful businessman. He had everything he needed, but still, he became a kind, honest, generous, and modest man, and he was known for his integrity and love to help the poor and the needy. When his father passed away, he took over his father's business and he became a successful businessman just like his father was. His business expanded as he was honest and trustful. How did Uthman ibn Affan enter Islam? In the past, Arabs were known for their racism and cruelty. They used to bury their daughters and treat their women as objects. The idea of women was that they were mad for their pleasure and to give birth only. They used to kill each other for silly reasons or no reason at all and treated their slaves with cruelty. They worshipped many idols and were known for their dishonesty. Uthman ibn Affan was born in a rich family. His father was a merchant, therefore Uthman became a merchant too. He traveled around the world and got to learn about the different beliefs and nations. This shaped his personality and made him different from the rest of the Quraysh. One day when he returned to Makkah, he heard about the Prophet Muhammad. There was chaos due to the call of the Prophet Muhammad to the people to worship only one God and to say that he was a prophet sent by God. The Prophet was asking them to give up all the idols they were worshipping and to worship Allah. But to them, this seemed strange, because they followed what their fathers and grandfathers worshipped. Uthman ibn Affan knew the Prophet, as he was known for his honesty and trustworthiness. However, he didn't believe in Islam right away. But he remembered what the Christians and Jews said about the coming of the final prophet to lead people on the right path. The third Caliph then decided to visit his friend Abu Bakr, whom he knew that he accepted Islam, and asked him about Islam. So, Abu Bakr explained what Islam means and what it calls people to, and asked Uthman to become a Muslim. From what Uthman heard, he felt that Islam was the right religion and he chose to convert to Islam. And when he met the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, he declared that he converted to Islam. In the beginning of Islam, Muslims were mistreated. The disbelievers oppressed them and tortured them in all ways to force them into leaving Islam. Uthman ibn Affan went through the same thing. He was tortured at the hands of his uncle al-Hakam ibn Abi al-Az. However, Uthman didn't give in to his uncle's torture, and when his uncle lost hope, he let him be. So, Uthman chose to defend Islam with everything he has got. When Uthman accepted Islam, he became one of the closest people to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and he married his daughter Ruqayyah. The migration to Abyssinia. Due to the oppression and torture that Muslims went through, they migrated to Abyssinia to seek refuge, as the king of Abyssinia was known for being a just ruler. Uthman and his wife Ruqayyah also migrated to Abyssinia. The ruler of Abyssinia gave the Muslim migrants all the things they needed. The people of Quraysh then tried to convince the ruler of Abyssinia to return the migrants to them, but he refused. During his stay in Abyssinia, Uthman started a new business, and he and his wife Ruqayyah were blessed with a child whom they called Abdullah. Uthman was a kind and generous man. He chose to help the poor and needy. Uthman ibn Affan became the third Caliph. When Umar ibn Khattab was on his deathbed, he conducted a council to choose the next caliph, and Uthman ibn Affan was chosen to be the third caliph. When Uthman became the third caliph, he started by reminding the Muslims that this life is nothing but a test and that they better work for their hereafter, and not to get carried away by their desires and the false deception of this world. Allah says in the Holy Quran, "And put forward to them the example of the life of this world. It is like water, rain, which we send down from the sky, and the vegetation of the earth mingles with it, and becomes fresh and green. But, later, it becomes dry and broken pieces, which the winds scatter. And God is able to do everything. Wealth and children are the adornment of the life of this world. But the good righteous deeds, 5 compulsory prayers, deeds of God's obedience, good and nice talk, remembrance of God with glorification, praises, and thanks, etc., that last, are better with your Lord for rewards and better in respect of hope." Quran 18:45. Uthman was a kind and generous man. He was known for his love of the Holy Quran and for being a pious man. It was narrated that Abu Abd al-Rahman al-Sulami said, "Those who taught the Quran, such as Uthman ibn Affan, Abd Allah ibn Masud, and others, told us that when they learned 10 verses from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, they would not go beyond them until they had learned the knowledge contained in them and how to apply it indeed. They said, so we learned the Quran and knowledge and its application together. Hence, they would spend a while to memorize a surah." Here are some of the sayings of Uthman ibn Affan said about the Holy Quran. "If our hearts were pure, we would never have our fill of the words of Allah. May He be glorified and exalted. I would not like the day to come when I do not look in the covenant of Allah, i.e. Holy Quran. There are 4 things which are outwardly virtues, but in reality are obligations. Mixing with righteous people is a virtue, and following their example is a duty. Reading the Quran is a virtue, and acting upon it is a duty. Visiting the graves is a virtue, and preparing for death is a duty, and visiting the sick person is a virtue, and asking him to make a will is a duty. 10 things are the greatest waste of time: a scholar whom no one asks about, knowledge that is not acted upon, sound advice that is not accepted, a weapon that is not used, a mosque that is not prayed in, a mashaf, Quran, that is not read from, wealth from which nothing is spent, in charity, a horse that is not ridden, knowledge of asceticism in the heart of one who is seeking worldly gain, and a long life in which no preparation is made for the journey into the hereafter." The third caliph first assured the Muslims that he would guide them like the Prophet Muhammad and the previous caliph did. Then Uthman reminded the governors and the armies of their true purpose, which is to serve the people and not to fall for the life temptations. During the reign of the third Caliph, there were many conquests in order to expand the Islamic reign and spread Islam. Achievements of Uthman bin Affan. Uthman ibn Affan became the third Caliph after the death of Umar ibn al-Khattab. He achieved and accomplished many things during his caliphate reign, some of which are the expansion of the Islamic State. During the reign of the third caliph, there were many conquests to expand the Islamic reign and let Islam spread across the world. Among those conquests are the conquest of Murro, Turkey, Alexandria, Armenia, Caucasus, Khorasan, Kerman, Africa, and Cyprus. Expanding the Mosque of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. During the reign of Uthman, he expanded Al-Masjid al-Nabawi. Establishing the first Islamic fleet. To protect the Islamic beaches from the Byzantine attacks, he established the first Islamic fleet. Compilation of the Quran. One of the greatest achievements of Uthman bin Affan is the compilation of the Quran. The compilation of the Holy Quran started in the Caliphate of Abu Bakr Siddiq and was finished in the Caliphate of Uthman. Due to the expansion of the Islamic reign, many of the new Muslims were not Arabic speakers. Therefore, in order to help them all recite the Holy Quran correctly, Uthman made copies of the Holy Quran and distributed it. Hudhaifa, R.A., said to Uthman, R.A., O Prince of Believers, save this nation before they differ concerning the book, Quran, as the Jews and the Christians did. Uthman, R.A., said, Send us the manuscript so that we may make copies of it, then we will return it to you. What did the Prophet Muhammad say about Uthman ibn Affan? The Prophet said, "The most compassionate of my community towards my community is Abu Bakr. The staunchest in Allah's religion is Umar, and the most truthful in his modesty is Uthman." The Prophet praised Uthman and said, "Shall I not feel bashful before a man when even the angels feel bashful before him?" How was Uthman ibn Affan related to Prophet Muhammad? Uthman ibn Affan married the daughter of Prophet Muhammad, Ruqayya, and when she passed away, he married the other daughter of the Prophet, Kulthum. Therefore he was called the possessor of two lights, Du Nurayn. Who is the father of Uthman? The father of the third Caliph Uthman was Affan ibn Abi al-Az, a famous merchant. Who is Uthman ibn Affan's wife? Uthman ibn Affan was called the man with two lights because he was married to the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, Ruqayya, and when she passed away, he married her sister Kulthum. Therefore, he was called the man with two lights because he married two of the Prophet Muhammad's daughters. How did Uthman ibn Affan die? Uthman ibn Affan was murdered by some of the rebellious. He knew who they were, but he refused to kill them. He couldn't shed the blood of a Muslim, and he didn't want to kill another Muslim just for his own sake. The third caliph reigned with kindness and generosity, so, on the 18th of Dhul Hijjah 35 AH, the rebellions broke into the house of Uthman ibn Affan and murdered him. And that is how the life of a kind and generous ruler ended with a tragic ending. Is Uthman bin Affan one of those promised paradise? Yes, Uthman ibn Affan is one of the 10 companions promised paradise. Here are the names of the 10 companions of the Prophet Muhammad who were promised Jannah. May Allah be pleased with them all. Abu Bakr, Umar ibn Khattab, Uthman bin Affan, Ali bin Abu Talib, Talha ibn Ubaidullah, Zubair ibn al-Awwam, Abdur Rahman bin Auf, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Sa'id ibn Zayd, Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah. Now you know everything you need to know about the third caliph, Uthman ibn Affan, who was a kind, pious, generous, modest, and trustful man. Uthman loved helping the poor and the needy even before he entered Islam. He accomplished many things during his reign, among which compilation of the Quran. Characteristics of Uthman ibn Affan. A glimpse into his remarkable life. He commanded immense respect from the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, primarily owing to his exceptional quality of shyness. An anecdote illustrates this deeply ingrained trait of Uthman. Once, the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, was reclining in Aisha's house, his thigh exposed. Abu Bakr visited first, followed by Umar, and finally, Uthman. Upon Uthman's arrival, the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, promptly sat up and adjusted his clothing. Witnessing this gesture, Aisha inquired why he had done so exclusively for Uthman and not for Abu Bakr or Umar. In response, the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, remarked, "Should I not show modesty to one whom even the angels show modesty?" Additionally, Allah's Messenger, may God bless him and grant him peace, has acknowledged that the most merciful of my ummah towards my ummah is Abu Bakr. The one who adheres most sternly to the religion of Allah is Umar. The most sincere of them in shyness and modesty is Uthman. These narrations underscore Uthman's exceptional character quality, setting him apart from his contemporaries and earning him a unique place in the heart of the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace. In this article, we will delve into his distinctive character, his elevated status, and his unwavering commitment to sacrificing for the sake of Islam. These qualities, often lacking in today's Muslim community, make the study of Uthman's life profoundly relevant to all of us. Uthman ibn Affan's exceptional modesty, a unique characteristic. As previously mentioned, Uthman ibn Affan's predominant character trait was his extraordinary shyness. However, it is essential to recognize that his shyness was truly exceptional, given that he was no ordinary man. He was a highly successful businessman who had amassed considerable wealth. Moreover, he enjoyed widespread fame and adoration among the people of his era, to the extent that Quraysh women would sing lullabies to their children, expressing their love for Uthman by saying, "I love you as much as Quraysh love Uthman." It's worth noting that shyness comes more easily when one is an anonymous and unremarkable individual. Many people find it intimidating to interact with others due to this very reason. However, Uthman's case was entirely different. He was a superstar, a millionaire superstar, to be precise. It's difficult to fathom someone today holding a status comparable to Uthman's and still maintaining a sense of shyness when engaging with journalists or other high-profile individuals. This underscores a critical lesson. The kind of shyness that is inherently respectable and elevates our character applies universally, regardless of the circumstances. Whether we are conversing with someone in a much higher societal position or with someone at the lowest rung of society, genuine shyness is a quality highly valued in Islam. It reminds us of the importance of humility and modesty in all our interactions. Uthman's serene disposition, a reflection on his easygoing nature. Another remarkable character trait of Caliph Uthman was his remarkable easygoing nature when dealing with others. Much like shyness, this attribute is often rare in today's interactions. However, the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, is known to have conveyed the message that Allah admitted to paradise, a man who was easygoing in buying and selling, both when paying off his debts and when asking people to pay him when they owed him. This sentiment echoes the demeanor of Uthman, who demonstrated such a disposition on numerous occasions. One striking instance is when he allowed the cancellation of a business deal for an individual who had become dissatisfied after the agreement had already been established. In contemporary business dealings, we tend to be stringent and unforgiving when it comes to contracts. If a client wishes to amend or withdraw from an agreement, it often results in rejection or legal battles if any stipulations have been violated. However, Islam teaches us to be more approachable and lenient in such cases. Consequently, if someone enters into a contract and subsequently finds it burdensome or unfavorable, we are encouraged to facilitate their exit from the agreement. Uthman serves as a shining example of this easygoing approach, reminding us of the importance of compassion and flexibility in our interactions. Uthman's humility and gentle nature, a profound character study. It is narrated that Uthman ibn Affan, during his night prayers, would personally prepare his wudu, ablution, water. When someone observed him doing this task, they inquired why he didn't instruct his servant to do it for him. Uthman responded with a profound humility, saying, "No, the night is for them to rest." Despite occupying such a high social standing and enjoying ideal financial circumstances that would have granted him the privilege of assigning household chores to his servants, Uthman displayed remarkable humility by valuing every minute of their rest and tending to even the simplest tasks, such as water preparation, himself. Moreover, this narration underscores Uthman ibn Affan's exceptional gentleness. His considerate demeanor extended to his treatment of servants, as he refrained from disturbing their sleep when they could have assisted him. Throughout his biography, Uthman is recognized as a true gentleman, consistently demonstrating compassion toward people, caring for the less fortunate, and ensuring that those in positions of strength fulfilled their responsibilities. His life serves as an enduring example of humility and kindness, emphasizing the importance of looking out for the well-being of others. Uthman's willingness to sacrifice an ascetic lifestyle. In its conventional sense, religious asceticism typically implies abstaining from various worldly indulgences, such as luxury, marriage, or even social engagement. However, within the Islamic context, asceticism, known as zuhd in Arabic, takes on a distinctly different meaning. It is often defined as a state in which attachment to the material world remains in one's hands but not within their heart. In this context, a person may possess substantial wealth, enjoy a vibrant social life, and indulge in luxuries, yet still be considered ascetic as long as their heart remains unburdened by an attachment to these worldly possessions. If everything they have were to vanish overnight, it would not sadden them, and if it were to return, it would not increase their happiness. Absolute asceticism, therefore, revolves around the detachment of the heart, rather than the limbs, from entanglement in worldly affairs. The exemplary embodiment of such detachment can be found in the life of Uthman. As previously mentioned, he was not only exceptionally wealthy but also widely known, beloved, and highly respected in his community before embracing Islam. For a man of his stature to willingly forsake everything was indeed a formidable task. However, When the persecution of Muslims in Mecca reached intolerable levels, and life became unbearable for many believers, Uthman was among the first to undertake the migration to Abyssinia, where Muslims could practice their faith freely. In this migration, Uthman had to leave behind his thriving business, substantial wealth, and his esteemed social status. His asceticism was evident in the freedom of his heart from the love of material possessions and status, making it relatively easy for him to relinquish his life's achievements for the sake of Allah. Throughout his life, Uthman continually demonstrated his asceticism by generously spending substantial portions of his wealth for the betterment of Islam and the well-being of fellow Muslims. He purchased a well in Medina, ensuring that people could access it for free. He also acquired land and contributed it for the expansion of the Prophet's mosque when it became insufficient for the growing Muslim community. Furthermore, he dedicated significant resources to support Muslims preparing for the Tabuk campaign. Today, many people find themselves deeply attached to the material world. Our measures of success are often closely tied to our worldly progress. When this progress stagnates or all our achievements are lost, some may experience depression or even contemplate suicide. Hearing a story of someone losing all their worldly possessions is often perceived as the ultimate life challenge. However, if we were to adopt an ascetic mindset, similar to the companions of the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, such losses would be met with equanimity, even if we were to initiate them ourselves. Uthman's life story serves as a powerful testament to the strength of asceticism in transcending the allure of materialism and embodying a profound spiritual detachment from worldly pursuits. Undoubtedly, Uthman ibn Affan, known as Dhul Nurayn and the third Caliph of Islam, was a man of extraordinary character, earning him a distinguished place among the companions of the Prophet. May God bless him and grant him peace and a prominent role in history. Remarkably, his enduring legacy is not solely attributed to his special social status as a wealthy businessman but rather to how he conducted himself in these roles. His remarkable shyness, despite his fame and status as a superstar, his humility, easygoing nature in business transactions, and his gentle treatment of people, including his servants, are the reasons why we reflect upon his life in this article. In contrast, many individuals today aspire to write themselves into history through the pursuit of fame, wealth, and honor. However, they often overlook that it is not the attainment of these achievements that truly matter, but rather one's virtue in managing them. In Uthman's example, we witness how he maintained his humility when others might have succumbed to pride and boastfulness. He possessed everything, yet he willingly gave everything for the sake of Allah and his love for the Messenger. May God bless him and grant him peace. These are the character traits that elevated him to greatness, and these are the qualities we should aspire to cultivate in ourselves, virtues that Allah loves. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Soon we will publish Part 2. Thank you for watching.